the man who helped the career and signed artists like Billy Joel, Fleetwood Mac, ABBA, Cheap Trick, Johnny Winter, Rio Speedwagon, and produced many more. He is a Grammy Award winner and was nominated 8 times. In a business, we call people like him legend. Welcome back for part 4 with Larry Cohn.
That's it. A deaf person could have done that. Not only me, anyone that could have listened to that could have said, wow, it's going to be a game changer for him, you know.
Yeah, but that's what great people think that everybody else could done at your place, but obviously nobody was doing it.
Yeah, well, you know, you also have to have the courage of your convictions. A lot of people are very reluctant, you know, to say anything. You know, my attitude has always been, the worst thing that can happen is that I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So, you know, and as I said earlier on, the sin is not to be wrong. The sin is not to try. Yeah. You know, that's the sin. Like you know, that. So you have to try. You know, sometimes you have to throw 100 records against the wall and hope that one will stick. You know, it's an old cliche, but it's the truth. You know. So there you go.
Okay.
One thing I never realized though in my career is I always wanted to produce a French artist.
Which one
in France?
You like?
Oh God. You know him. We talked about him before, and I always forget his name.
What does he do? Guitarist player, singer? Who is he? Guitarist
player? Yeah, guitar player, singer. It's like a Leonard Cohn, Bob Dylan type.
Oh, Francis Cabrel?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Cabrel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I would have killed to produce Cabrel.
Yeah. It's good. He's a good musician.
Oh, he's one of my... And you know how I found him? I didn't hear him in France. Yeah, I always heard these terrible girl singers in France.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that was the period.
I was at I had come back to Sony, and I was out here, and I saw a CD in trash being thrown out, and I picked it up, and it was a Cabrel CD. And I said, this is a really nice CD. Why would anyone throw it out? I wonder what it sounds like. I put it on, and he just knocked me, you know. So then I called Renault in France, and I said, Cabrel. He said, yeah, Cabrel is, you know, like the Bob Dylan, Leonard Cohn of France. Send me everything you have. And he sent me Bob, which I still have.
It's very beautiful.
And I would have loved to have produced him.
Sure.
It was a good choice, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's true.
A good choice. None of the women were terrible. The women, except for Piaf.
Agreed.
Except for Piaf.
Agreed.
They were terrible. Jane Birkin, you know, I mean...
they don't know how to sing.
Huh?
They don't know how to sing.
They don't know how to sing.
It's horrible. But it was a trend at the time.
It was a trend.
It was the thing that, who cares how they sing? It was just this little voice.
Yeah, when Birkin's, what's his name? Serge...
Gainsbourg.
Yeah, when Serge Gainsbourg, you know, did those talking things with his daughter and with Jane Birkin, you know, they were like novelty things, but they weren't really music, you know. I had a couple of funny things in France. Michel Drucker.
Drucker, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know,
big guy.
The
biggest guy on TV, right?
Biggest guy on TV. So one night I was reading, and we were sitting in the living room, and she had the program on. So it had, what's her name? Oh, God, I'm so bad with names. It had Gainsbourg and Whitney Houston. And Drucker.
Oh, yeah.
So, well, you know the story.
Yeah.
Should I tell the story?
Sure.
So you have Drucker on a stool, and you have Whitney Houston, and you have Gainsbourg. So she sings, and she's looking really beautiful. Then she comes and she sits down with the two of them. And Drucker leans over to Gainsbourg and says, in English now,
I remember the scene. TV. I remember the scene, yeah.
This is English. He says in English, he said, you know, she was really wonderful, wasn't she? What did you think of her? And Gainsbourg says, what did I think of her? I'd like to fuck her. You know, do you remember?
Yeah.
At which point I fell off my chair. Drucker actually fell off the stool. You know, and then and she, I mean, because it's English now.
She heard it.
She hears, so she goes like this, and then Gainsbourg continues and starts to paw her, to touch her, and she's going like this.
Yeah.
And then Gainsbourg sees Drucker get back on the stool and says, "I'd like to fuck her. Look, she's beautiful, wouldn't you?" Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! And then the other Gainsbourg story that I had, they had a songwriters program on television one time, and it was Gainsbourg, who was out of his mind. I don't know whether he was drugs or alcohol. He was always loaded. Something. I think mostly he was an alcoholic. Yeah. And they had Guy Biard and people like that.
Oh, yeah, they have a fight. I remember this one also, yeah.
Yeah. And they got into an argument, and Gainsbourg's having a fist fight with Biard. And I'm thinking, what about, I'm watching a boxing match? I mean, these guys are songwriters, for God's sake. French television was great because, they didn't run from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. They went from 8 o'clock till they finished. Yeah. It didn't matter. And all the commercials they got out of the way at the beginning. So
they put some in the middle, like United States now.
So the story goes about Sly and Ike Turner were close friends. Could see why they were close friends. Anyway, Ike had a recording studio here in Los Angeles, and he was recording someone at a point in time, and there were people there, and Sly was there, and they had this big cauldron of Coke, the way it was described to me, not a little thing, but a cauldron of Coke, this high, and everybody was doing it, sniffing and that kind of stuff. And at a point in time, Ike, I guess it was a 2-story building from what I understand. I never saw it. Ike excused himself. He said he had to go upstairs for a minute. So he goes upstairs, and he comes down about 20 minutes later, and Sly is gone and the Coke gone. So he says, the first thing he says, "Where's the Coke?" No, where's Sly? Where's the Coke? So someone said, "Well, Sly took it, and he went down the street somewhere." So Ike goes back upstairs and comes down with a gun, an automatic weapon, and goes out on the street and starts shooting at Sly, And I guess he got the Coke back, It was really, really funny. The one time I met Ike was at the House of Blues at some function that I had to go to because, I don't go to those things. And he said, "Oh, I know who you are, Larry Cohn." He says, "How come, we never met before because we have so many mutual friends?" And I said, "Well, he had just got out of prison." And I was just thinking to myself, we never met. It's good.
Maybe it's for the best.
Good. So, anyway. He was a piece of work, he was a piece of work. And Sly, of course, could have been...
Super talented guy, no?
Well, he could have been the number one pop act in the world. I mean, he really could have been. He was a genius musically. But, I mean, he's also,
mentally
got a lot of problems. He's been living in the back of a truck for the last 20 years.
I heard.
Yeah, and he said he's happy with it, so he likes the accommodations, I mean, here's a guy that made a great, great, great deal of money.
And influenced a lot of people.
Oh, all of those guys like Bootsy Collins and all these people that did all that funk stuff.
The funk stuff, yeah.
He did it way before them,
Miles Davis was one of the influence. I mean, he influenced him. He influenced Miles Davis when he came back from his in the 70s when he turned to be rock.
When he wanted to be a rock star, he
wanted to be Sly. Yeah.
Exactly, and that's when I stopped listening to Miles Davis.
That's something.
Well, I stopped listening to Miles Davis at that point.
Oh yeah, I still like it. I liked it
because I thought you liked it.
Yeah, in the period. Yeah, it was a new thing in the music world.
He was playing electric trumpet, which I didn't like. He was. He wanted to be a rock and roll star and that kind of stuff. And, my thought was, what you were doing before you decided to be a rock and roll star was so extraordinary. And I saw him play in person several times with Coltrane, which
Yeah.
was really something.
Yeah.
So we don't need another one, another funkster, so to speak. But like you said, a lot of people, their reasoning was exactly yours. He was doing something new, breaking new ground.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the moment we have with my friend Larry Cohn. I remember when I asked him the first time if he wanted to be interviewed, he said, "I have nothing interesting to say. Why do you want me interview me?" And I hope you enjoy it. I hope you judged if you have nothing to say. Have a great evening. I see you soon, and bye-bye. Thank you very much.